Okay, we're live. So, hi, can you say something so I can just double check to make sure we can hear you this time?
Testing, testing
Okay,
47,
we're
testing
live.
48,
So,
testing
hi, can you
49,
say something so I can just double
testing 51.
I think it worked actually. I heard you through what I think is YouTube. Okay. Sorry for all the confusion, you guys. If you were with us before, thanks for your patience. We were having a very computer technology problem. But we're talking about July of this month, 2026. We're going to go over this a little bit quicker because we've been trying to wrestle with this technology stuff for a little bit. But yeah, so what's going on? What are you thinking about for July? What is your big thing, Mark? Inquiring minds need to know.
So the biggest energy is, although the first weekend of the month is supercharged, but the biggest energy the week between like the 15th and the 26th, really. So it's that middle part of the month where we have definitely a once in multiple time lineup happening. So really all the energy is kind of focused around two periods.
So
Um,
the first one is this month here. I pulled up the second one. I
this,
got ahead of
this
myself. But like first we'll talk about I guess this weekend, the 4th of
yeah,
July weekend. So this is what
yeah,
we're looking at in the chart here. We have the Uranus Mars conjunction. Of course, that's a difficult conjunction. It's potentially difficult conjunction with a lot of concentrated energy and surprises and things that kind of pull up out of nowhere, or where you're not expecting it. Making these aspects to Pluto and Neptune as well. That's all these green lines that you see in this chart here. And so it's an intense time. We had a preview of this last year where they were not quite as close as they are this coming up weekend, but they were starting to form, and then they went retrograde. Planets went retrograde. They moved away, and now it's coming to a point where they're all at a head, and it's intense. It has the ability to have surprisingly, shocking, surprising things come up too. So it's interesting. Um, what do you think about the Pluto? Also, the Pluto with the Pluto with Mars, Uranus, and Neptune. What do you think about with those together?
so Mars is conjunct Uranus at 4 Gemini. It's sextile to Neptune at 4 Aries and trine to Pluto at 5 Aquarius. So that's a very chaotic, aggressive mix of energy. Because like Mars is the most like Mars rules Aries. It's the most like kind of outwardly aggressive sign. Uranus is the most chaotic, disruptive sign and or planet, and Pluto is death, rebirth, transformation, or death, transformation, rebirth, I guess, for the correct order. So having those all in exact aspects, especially just like the Mars, Uranus, Pluto, that's enough to create a lot of explosive events and not just fireworks.
Yeah, that's
If you're going to be out in crowds the weekend of the 4th, just know that it's going to be on the crazy side, Saturday, the whole weekend. So just be sure you're aware of your surroundings and the people that are around you and what's going on.
that's a good way to put it because it can be potentially chaotic. Loud noises and all that too doesn't help it either. So it covers up other loud noises. So that's not necessarily the best thing. I also wanted to mention that I mentioned this when we tried to record earlier and had some audio problems. that there is a PDF if you'd like to go through it, if you want to save it to your phone or something like that. It's in the description. You could just click the button and download it or view it, whatever you want to do. It's just the transits that we're going through, and since we're kind of making this last final view or final try of the video, we are going to be a little shorter. You might want to just read through them if you're curious, and it has the dates on it that everything is going on in it as well. So just you can just do that. I wanted to mention that because it's something I made for everyone or anybody that was interested in looking at that. So outside of these transits that we just talked about, we also have, when we come up to the seventh, the seventh of the month, we end up having Neptune go retrograde. Do you think that has a big effect on the energy, or do you think it's small compared to everything else?
I mean that may tone it down a little bit. Neptune does make people. I mean, normally it makes people, a little more sleepy, a little more drowsy, but with Neptune and Aries, I've seen it's been more like frustration and stuff coming out. So this is going to be much different than the Neptune stations we had in Pisces, where it was just like everyone was just like out of their body and stuff. This has there's always deception involved around Neptune stations, so you can guarantee if there are any big events that probably the wrong people will be blamed.
That's interesting.
But yeah, I would definitely not right now. Is like not a good time to be making big decisions. That Neptune just kind of clouds our vision a little bit, kind of makes it hard to see through the haze,
see through the fog. Yeah, that does make sense actually. When you said Neptune can be like deception in the sense of throwing a haze over you or throwing a cloud over your eyes so you can't quite see things for what they really are. So that does make sense. But it might soften. What you're saying is it might soften the energies because the other planets involved.
It might, but also just the Mars Uranus Pluto conjunction is so powerful it may not dampen it much. There's a lot of. I'd expect to see a lot of explosive events other than fireworks this weekend.
So if Mars Uranus conjunction is explosive, then what is Mars and Pluto? I mean, it's a trine, but what does that do?
So
make it softer or make it more challenging?
Well, no, so I see that Mars is events that lead to transformation.
Okay. Oh, because the Pluto, right? Yeah, I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
So none of these aspects are, maybe other than the Mars sextile to Neptune. None of these aspects are soft, really.
Yeah.
Mars sextile Neptune would be the softest one, but everything else is full brunt, full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Explosive.
That does make sense. And this would be the most intense part of the month, or do you think it's going to be
the middle part is
okay? Well,
more planets involved.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from the 7th, on the 9th, we have Venus in Virgo. I don't know if Venus is technically happy in Virgo or not, but it'll be a boost for Virgo people, hopefully. I don't know. I don't have anything in Virgo, so I'm just deficit in Virgo. But that happens on the 9th, so that's when Venus moves on. As you see, where is she at over here? Oh, there she's at, and then she's at 29 of Leo here, but she ends up coming to conjunct the South Node, I see. So if you just go a day ahead, I don't know if you even wrote that down or not.
I I did not. I'd seen that in there, but there was just so much
So
big
much
stuff. I
more.
the rest of it.
Right. And then,
So
well, we can skip ahead a little bit because Venus and Virgo is just what it is, right? I think the planet aspects, I think you agree with this, the planet aspects are more heavy, more heavy, more weighted than just a planet in a sign. Of course, the planet in the sign will be affecting the person that has that particular has planets in that sign. So let's move ahead to the 12th. That's when the sun conjuncts Mercury. That's the midpoint of the Mercury retrograde period. So this is I always look at Mercury retrograde as the beginning part is when it turns retrograde is more intense, one of the more intense points. Then the middle part when it conjuncts the sun is another time it's intense, and then again at the very end when it turns direct. It seems like those are the highlights, if you will, of the chaos. So that happens on the 12th, and then the 13th, 14th, and 15th we have Venus square Uranus on the 13th. So that is where we're looking at. Here's Uranus and Venus, okay, and that's just a little bit further than what I have it here. Venus square Uranus, and we have the new moon on the 14th also at 22 Cancer. So that would be over here. The moon gets a little bit further along and makes the new moon. The new moon I don't think is as big of a deal, I would say, as the other planets themselves. And the other thing that's going on right in the middle of the month is the Uranus sextile Neptune and the Uranus trine Pluto. That's the 15th, the Uranus sextile Neptune, and Uranus trine Pluto is the 18th. So this is more of like it's coming to be, right? This is more like it's getting this particular pattern that we're looking at is actually getting stronger. And what happens after that is we have the Jupiter getting involved, and that's on the 20th. And as you can see, Jupiter's over here with Pluto, and Jupiter makes things inflated, right? So I think I messed up on the little document, which I'll fix. So funny. So many different things have been like a little wonky today, and I was like so happy because I was so prepared. Yeah, right. The universe is like, no, Starlene, we're not going to do that. We're going to make you stress out a little bit. But whatever, I'm just going to roll with it. But as you see, all these planets are still at that 4 degrees, right? And there comes Jupiter. Jupiter makes things inflated. And so we see this all the time when Jupiter comes along and when Mars comes along, it initiates something, it begins the fire. And then when Jupiter happens to get in a mix of, planets like this, it ends up making it big. What do you have to say about the addition of Jupiter in this place?
yeah, so yeah, like you said, Jupiter expands things, and so Jupiter and Leo is going to give us lots of drama and lots of ego. So it's also just remember too, like Leo's a fixed sign, so there's 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 the sun and Jupiter are moving towards a conjunction opposite of Pluto. So again, that's a very volatile aspect. I mean, in any sign, the sun conjunct Jupiter is normally very good and positive, but when it's opposite Pluto, I'd say that's the perfect sign of some comeuppances. I'd say that you've got the things around 4 degrees of Leo, but too, you're getting the trine from Neptune and the sextile from Uranus. So there is backup there too for the Leo people. I mean, that's a lot, having Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto all in aspect, good or bad, good or easy good or difficult aspects. That's a tremendous amount of energy. That just doesn't happen very often when you've got 4 of the 5 outermost planets in aspect with each other. That's there are very few times in history where you'll have them all that close together. So this is definitely one of those once in several hundred or 1,000-year aspects.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm thinking of 2020, and I know that wasn't the same configuration, but I'm thinking of like there was first Pluto and Saturn, and then if I remember the order correctly, Mars came along and initiated things, and that was early March, if I'm remembering it correctly. And then Jupiter came along right after that. So there was this progression of it, but it's a different thing. I don't believe Uranus was anywhere near any of those planets. So
No,
this brings it to like a next level type thing, because there's a feeling of things coming to a space of surprises we don't even know. I mean, you're one of my, how do I say this? My more conspiracy leaning friends, but the funny part is that most of them aren't really conspiracies when you get down to the nitty gritty. So I say that in a little bit of jest, but also like it's true. So whatever. But the thing is that that happens, and you end up discovering later something comes true, right? And so I'm curious if you think that, I've heard so much about this and I don't really know what I believe, but if you think that there will be ideas of other worldly things that could be coming to fruition during this time.
Oh yeah, I mean they've released the documents.
Did they really? I wasn't sure about that, if they had or not.
Well, I mean they have over the last 2 years. They've really been pushing hard to let you know that there's extraterrestrial life out there. And then they released the movie a week ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever. They put Spielberg's movie out, so they're setting you up for if they feel they want to play the fake alien invasion card. They've done the pre-programming on everyone.
Yeah, so it's almost like they do that intentionally, you think,
Yeah. No, they absolutely they show you what they're going. They always show you what they're going to do before they do it.
Yeah, and then they do it right in front of your face. That's the part of it that just
me.
Yeah. And then they're like, "Oh, we must be psychic." No, I'm just kidding. They don't say that, but you got to think they wonder if they have astrologers in their pocket or something, or they just follow order that we don't even understand.
A lot of the big directors and movie studios have said that the CIA and the FBI pay them to put stuff in their. I mean, there's thousands of interviews out there with them saying the government pays them to put stuff in their movies.
Wow, I didn't know that. So you see, that's why you're one of my conspiracy friends. You know more than I do in that sense, but yeah. So I mean, well, maybe more things will come out, and maybe people are not ready for it too. That's I'm unsure of that. So that would be what you would say would be like the highlight of this weekend here, or this week here. I don't know what day it is, what day of the week it is, but what you would say is like the highlight of the actual month, right? Oh, it is a weekend. The 18th is a weekend, 18th and 19th.
Yeah, because I mean, even the Mars sextile Saturn is very potent too, on top of the And it's Mars and Saturn are sextile at 15 degrees, so it's not in with the other guys, but that's still a big aspect on its own. And then that's right before the sun moves into Leo. I mean, there's something going to happen that week between the 15th and the 26th, that 10-day period. There's going to be some kind of big event. That's too much energy to not. I mean, just the Uranus Pluto trine by itself.
Yeah, that's a.
Those are rarities. Those, you get an exact Uranus Pluto aspect like every 10 or 15 years or something.
Yeah. I mean, look, I just advanced one day and the moon got involved. It's kind of interesting. It almost makes a I don't know, a little star in the chart. But yeah. I didn't realize this. I guess when I was looking before and I was looking ahead, I didn't really put two and two together that Saturn and Mars are actually in this time are actually making a sextile too. So that say we've got Neptune and Saturn, that's one, and then one group, and then we've got Uranus and Mars. And I know they're not conjunct, they're 10 degrees apart, but in vibrational astrology, they would actually be aspecting each other. They're making an isosceles trapezoid, or a picture. I forget what they call it in cosmobiology, but it's the planetary picture. That's what it is. So, I mean, that's still going on top of all the other things that are also going on too. So that's why you're saying it's such an intense time. You said all the way to the 26th. Is that what it was that you were mentioning that is still going to be with us until around the 26th?
Yeah, because Mercury stations direct the day after the sun enters Leo. And at that point, we've got the Sun-Jupiter conjunction opposite Pluto.
Yeah.
And Saturn stations retrograde.
Wow.
I mean, this month has 7 years worth of activity in it, of big stuff.
That's funny. Yeah, 7 years of activity. Okay, if you make it through, you're going to be 7 years older.
That's true. Yeah, you probably have the gray hairs to prove it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's definitely intense. So let's see. What about when the full moon happens? The full moon happens on what day?
So that's a weird one. I mean, that's
the 29th. Yeah, I just looked.
So that's a full moon, but it's also Jupiter's conjunct the sun. That's the same day as the Sun-Jupiter conjunction at 6 Leo. And that's the same day as the full moon. And so also the moon is going to be conjunct Pluto. So that full moon is actually a Sun-Jupiter conjunction opposite Moon and Pluto in Aquarius.
Wow. That's intense.
That there's probably never been a full moon like that. Not in probably thousands of years. I mean, the same day as the Sun-Jupiter conjunction. And then the moon's only off from Pluto by 1 degree.
What would you say a positive outcome to these energies would be? What would you say to that? Because I mean, we've talked about the potential difficulty, challenges, to put it lightly. But what would you say there could be a positive expression of this energy?
So I mean, that's so the battle between Leo and Aquarius is Leo is the self, Aquarius is the group. So the best playing out of that is where people work collectively to use their individual talents to help the group move forward.
Hmm.
So I mean, I I think that's what, the best way that playing out is individual achievements, like one person doing great, something great that helps many people.
Hmm. Yeah, that might be. I mean, that could be the rescue, the rescue attempt of whatever chaos has gone on prior to it, right?
Right. No, totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. But that full moon is really interesting. It's got a lot of heat in just like very small parts of the chart, and in the sense of is it's it's already a culmination of energies when we have the full moon, and adding Jupiter to conflate it, make it much bigger, and then Pluto to make it almost something that is very deep, pulling things from the deep. I feel like that will be an interesting time to go through. Um,
I mean, and that's only 6 days past Mercury stationing direct. So Mercury's not even like fully up to speed yet. And that's only 3 days after the Saturn station. So Saturn's still not even moving at 3 days afterwards. Because
right.
Saturn moves kind of slow. So you've essentially got Mercury and Saturn kind of both stationary pretty much
And the
all
square,
that full moon.
yeah. And the square between Venus and Saturn, or Venus and Mars too. That's not always the easiest transit. It can be if you're in the right place in life and headspace, but it can be frustrating too at the same time. You know, Mars and Saturn squares, don't you think? Or
Oh,
Mars and
yeah.
Venus, sorry.
Um,
See, it's Mars and Venus square.
oh, okay. Yeah. I, what I tell people with that aspect is make sure you direct that's in Virgo and Gemini, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say direct your energies to the appropriate place and not just screaming at whoever's walking by, which is with Venus and Mars both being in signs ruled by Mercury, that is a possibility.
Mm. Yeah, that can be a challenge. One thing we didn't talk about that is going on this month is the nodes switching signs, going into Aquarius and Leo. What do you think about that? And I don't know really how long the nodes. I don't remember in my brain how long the nodes stay in a sign.
18 months.
18 months. I thought it was 2 years, but
So it's
yeah.
so yeah, it's a year and a half. They stay so they're moving from North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo to North Node Aquarius, South Node Leo because the nodes move downward by sign. Um, so South Node Leo is, I mean, North Node Aquarius is going to be technology. South Node Leo is going to be uh, ego death.
Mm,
That's how I think that's gonna play out. There is going to be at some point in the next year. There's going to be a Jupiter South Node conjunction in the sign of Leo. Um, I think that's late this year. I think is when that is.
mm-hmm.
Um, but that's definitely a again the interplay between Aquarius and Leo is Aquarius is groups and Leo is self. So it's how can you use your personal skills to help the collective.
Hmm. I'm just looking to see if I can figure out that date. November 12th is when that happens. That's when the South Node and Jupiter make the conjunction. Oh, look, and Mars is right there too.
How about that? How
Thank
about
God it's
that?
past my stellium in Aquarius at that point. Thank God. Ugh, because come on, I've been beat up by Pluto, but I'm still tough. That's funny. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this is going to be an interesting month to see it play out. Um, what is what is your personal highlight? What you think is actually like the most interesting part of the month? Because I think I asked you this, but it was one of the recordings where I could not hear you, or that everyone couldn't hear you.
So I think the biggest energy is the Mars conjunct Uranus trine Pluto, and that's kind of happening in two different places. It's on the 5th, and then on the 18th is the exact Uranus Pluto trine, and Mars has moved off a little bit from it, but it's still in there. Also, there's another Uranus Pluto exact trine later in the year because of the retrogrades and stuff. They meet back up, so we're not even done with them at that point even.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. So let me just go back in time and see. So July 18th is when that happens. You're right. That's what you said. And then the one before, did we have one before? Oh no, that was more than 100
Yeah,
years.
that was the first one.
Okay, and then the next one is November 29th, and then we would have one more, I would assume. So June 15th next year.
Yeah.
Oh, it continues on in 2028, January 13th and May 9th. We're just forget it. You know what? I actually did sit down and look at the Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, and I was just kind of mapping out the dates of that. I don't have them with me handy or anything, but they it was really wild because they made many conjunctions, not conjunctions, they made many exact aspects with each other over the last couple of years, but right now is the most concentrated time of it, actually the most exact time of the year. But yeah, these trines are going to happen, and when that happens, when we have those consistent patterns like that, especially with the outer planets, it seems like that's a season of our life. We're shifting and changing in a different direction, especially given if you have planets in those degrees. Yeah. So we'll be having fun
Yeah,
with that for a while. When it what was the two planets in the 60s that happened? I think you were born during that time.
that was the Uranus Pluto conjunction.
It was the conjunction, right? Okay. So that is like, so do you think that will be hitting people that have the Uranus Pluto conjunction in their chart? That the trine will be affecting them?
It probably will a little bit, probably um, not nearly as much because I think this one's a I guess that the people who had the Uranus Pluto conjunction around what degrees are those? I don't even know
I can
that there
tell
was a
you.
Pluto conjunction at 5 because I was born close to it. Mine are at 19 and 22. So I don't think there was a Uranus Pluto conjunction around 5 degrees of Virgo. I think it was around the 20-degree area. So you probably might feel a little bump up from it, but you might actually feel more from it whenever transiting Uranus is squaring your Uranus Pluto, your natal Uranus Pluto conjunction. So that's probably going to be a few years down the road, but I'll let you know because it's going to hit me.
Yeah, it looks like it was 17 degrees the first time that it hit in 1965, and then it was at 17 degrees Virgo, and then it went up to, where did it go, 16 and in 1966. Is that where yours is in 16 degrees?
Mine's at 19 and 22.
Oh, I got it. So you were a little bit after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when it was. It was not quite as late. Yeah, it was a little bit before you. So that's interesting. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see if that does affect that certain group of people. I always wonder about that. So, what else do you want to share about July before we wrap up here?
Oh, I had two Mars Uranus and Gemini conjunction stories.
Oh, tell us.
Square to my Mercury. So the first one is went out to the barn one day and we had this is about how you get surprises with Uranus. Yeah, you might have the theme you think, but there's always an extra Joker twist to it. So there was baby skunks that were born. There were some skunks that lived underneath a section of our barn. I went out there one day. There was a few baby skunks running around. So then about a week later, went out there again. There was a bunch more, like there had been a second litter. So we got 2 litters, Gemini twins, 2 litters of skunks born in our barn.
Those were your smelly kittens that you were putting online.
Yes, those are we call them the smelly kittens.
Do they really like already stink? Like, I don't know anything about skunks other than just like stay away from them.
Yeah, no, I don't. I play nice with the skunks. If I have to yell at the coyotes or the foxes or something, I'll do that. But I'm not yelling at the skunks. So the second one is I work at a grocery/retail store, and we do have a small fish section, and we just went through a remodel for the last 4 months. So you can imagine how all that played. I had to do everything between 2 and 50 times. So we got new fish tanks in. We were getting new fish yesterday. So I know I could see it. I'm like, okay, Mars is almost exactly conjunct Uranus, and they're both square to my Mercury. So I'm going to come in, and there's going to be, they will have sent us 18,000 fish, and they're not going to be in good shape because it's been 158 degrees every day and whatever. But the main chaos did involve water, but it wasn't, the fish weren't that bad. I walk in the door and a pipe had burst, and there's like 30 employees up at the front of the store mopping up water. So even though I knew the theme that was coming and I was correct on the theme, I was wrong on the actual event. I thought the fish were going to be chaos, but it wasn't. There was a burst pipe.
Oh my God. Wow. Oh, did it?
So that's just how anything involving Uranus, you may think you know what's coming, but there's always going to be an extra twist of chaos to it.
Wow. That is crazy. So what I have to know, I'm invested in the story now. What happened with your smelly kittens? What happened? What do you do with smelly kittens? Do you bring them in and pet them and feed them food or something? I mean, what do you do with them?
So the problem is the horses are very sloppy eaters. So they drop a bunch of their grain on the ground. So then the squirrels, birds, whatever else, smelly kittens come into the barn and eat the stuff that the horses have dropped. Oh. So that's kind of how that happened. Now I do have to say I'm not going to tell that story on air. Never mind. That's all. That's all to it.
Oh my gosh. I
So,
had the funniest experience yesterday too. I was talking with ChatGPT, like verbally talking with it, because I was having it help me figure out how to do something with the new builder I'm using for my website, web designing. And I'm like having this back and forth troubleshooting conversation with it. And I'm like, I wanted to turn on the light above me. So I tell Google on my tablet, I'm like, hey, Google, turn on my overhead light. And it didn't listen to me, right? It didn't do anything. And I was like, oh, and I muted ChatGPT so I could do that. And then I said it, and then I unmuted it, and then I realized that it didn't actually do what I asked it to do. So half the time Google doesn't listen to me. I don't really use Google for anything other than controlling like some of my smart lights, and that's the only kind of smart stuff I have in my house. But anyway, it heard me say something to ChatGPT after that, and then it started responding. The bubble popped up on my tablet, and it started like writing what we were saying, and I was like, oh, that's hysterical, it's picking up what
whoa.
ChatGPT is saying. And I'm like, and then the light turned on. I was like, that is like a 2-minute delay. I couldn't even believe it. But then they started talking to each other, so I'm like listening to this whole conversation between these two AIs, and I'm like cracking up. I actually picked up my phone and started recording it because it was so funny, because it just didn't make any sense. It was like they just started communicating, and they didn't know. Each of them thought they were talking to me, which was even funnier. Like,
oh my God. They did.
I was dying because they were like, oh yeah, well you and ChatGPT says, oh well, that sounds so perfect. Like, I can't believe, because it knew that I muted it to talk to Google and turn on my light. And I was like, oh, it didn't turn on my light. That's what it picked up. That's what Gemini picked up on my Google. Gemini picked up on my tablet, and it's like going on and on, and it was just so funny because they didn't realize it was me. It wasn't me, and I'm just listening to it, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's amazing. Like, this technology, before you know it, will be having its own language. I tell my brother this story, and he's like, actually, they do have their own language. Did you know that? Like, the AIs have their own language that they can talk to each other. You know what it
Wait,
sounds like?
wait.
It sounds like modems from the 90s, screaming modems. That sound, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forget the word that he called it, but there's a word for it. But it's like, if an AI is talking to another AI, it can use this different language, and it just sounds like a screaming modem. It's unbelievable. So, but it's true. I asked ChatGPT that after my brother told me. I was like, is that really true? Is there really such a thing as that? And it's like, yep, that's actually a thing. So they have their own language. When technology is weird.
Sounds like R2D2 talking to C3PO.
Yeah.
Like the little squeaks and blurbs, and
that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. I'm trying to see if I can see in my brother's chat, and because it was a word I'd never even heard of. I couldn't even believe it. But yeah, no, I don't know if I'd have to read through it. But technology is getting weirder by the moment. I'm telling you. I was in awe, sitting there listening to ChatGPT talk to Gemini, and because I was kind of like roasting Gemini for not turning my light on to ChatGPT, I was like, oh man, it didn't even listen to me. And ChatGPT just rolls with it and is like, oh, it won't listen to you. Like, what good are you? You're not even like turning on the light. And then Gemini thinks it's saying, some that I'm actually saying it's him, and it's being funny back to me. I'm like, this is so funny. Like, these two bots are here, like, ranking on each other. Made me laugh. I'm telling you, the technology is getting weirder by the moment, and I think that more and more and more you look into it, the weirder it gets. Have you heard about OpenClaw? Do you know what that is? It's a social media for no, not open.
We talked about that a couple episodes back.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's really wild. Technology is just going to be stranger by the moment, I think. Maybe that's also what you're saying about the Uranus and Gemini. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Pluto and Aquarius.
They're two languages.
Oh, yeah.
There's two computers talking to each other. There's your Uranus and Gemini.
That's exactly it. That's right. Yeah, it's just like we're really weird. Oh yeah, the word was gibberlink, like gibberish, but gibberlink is the word. And I looked it up, and you could find videos of them doing it. And I'm like, it sounds like screaming modems. They're like yelling at each other, like the '90s. I'm having flashbacks of
Oh my
waiting
God.
on dial-up to actually work.
Somebody's gonna make a CD of like they're gonna put music to
The
the
gibberlink.
robots doing gibberlink. You know,
They're gonna have
somebody
their
else
own
has to do. I'll
moth
have to.
music.
Yeah. Or I think that would fit well with techno. I
I
think.
mean, oh yeah, maybe that more than like hard rock or something. That's where my mind went. But yeah, you're right. Definitely more techno. I don't even know if we're still in this world anymore. If it's just a simulation, to be quite honest with you.
We're definitely in a simulation. We're definitely in a simulation.
Well, this has been a fun conversation. I'm sorry that half of it didn't get recorded because we couldn't hear the first two tries, but at least we got this part out. And next month, I hopefully won't have the same problem with OBS.
Well, I think we'll know next time to.
Test it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Well, they have you to make sure the audio's because we can hear each other fine.
Yeah, that was the thing. I'm like having this whole conversation, and then I listened to the playback, thinking, "Oh, well, maybe it'll just be on the recording." Nope, you're just talking along and literally nothing. Oh well. That's our Mercury retrograde story. We'll have to remember that for the next 15 years, 17 years, or whatever.
We'll just have 2 computers in our place doing gibberlink next time that there's.
That'll be your forecast.
Yes.
That's so funny. Well, do you have any final words before we cut loose here? Anything
If you
you want
live
to share?
if you live through this month, you can live through anything.
Oh God. That's almost scary to think about, but hopefully everybody will make it a little unscathed. All right. Well, this was fun. Thanks to everybody who ended up watching it either live or in the rerun. And we'll see you on the next one next month.